I bought a really cool selection of Shadowmoor and Lorwyn commons with a few uncommons. Nothing terribly money-wise here, but I paid all of $3 per box for each of those two boxes. One is Lorwyn, the other one is Shadowmoor. I think it's a fantastic deal. The cards are in excellent quality, and I'm getting ready to have a lot of fun with these cards. Shipping was good. I think it's the eBay seller was something S. Damiano. S. Damiano, I think was the guy's name. I think it's a guy. So I'm very happy with a lot. And I'm just going to go through and make a bunch of videos. Not too many, but because I don't want to burden viewers with many videos. Here I'm going to show what would be called these days Gruul and Celestia. So red-green and white-green hybrids from Shadowmoor. Most of them are common, but there are a couple of uncommon. There's a little bit of heavy repetition in some cases, 6-7 cards of the same. But that's not a big deal. I mean, you do not look a gift horse in the mouth. I think this is a fantastic deal. Tattermunch Maniac is a 1-drop hybrid uncommon, and it attacks each turn if able, and it's a 2/1. That's a very playable card. I got one of those in here. Scuzzback Scrapper is another 1-drop. It's a goblin warrior. Lots of goblins in here, which is great. And it's got Wither. This deals damage to creatures in the form of -1/-1 counters. And it's a 1/1, so that's pretty clean. And I think this is one of the heavy repetition cards. I think there's like 4 or 5 in here. Then you've got Tattermunch Witch, which is a 1+1 hybrid, 2/1. So it's a 2/2/1. And it's got a green-red mana ability. Each blocked creature gets +1/+0 and gains trample until end of turn, and it's an uncommon. That reads like a very useful card. I think there's 3 of them in here. Then you've got Tattermunch Duo, which is a 3-drop, another goblin, 3/2/3. Whenever you play a red spell, this card gets +1/+1 until end of turn. I think I've got all of 7 in here. Then Mud Brawler Raiders. It's a 4-drop 3/3, and it can't be blocked by blue creatures. That's a little restrictive because if you're playing a metagame with not that much blue, it's not going to be that useful. But a 4/3/3 is not terrible. There's 2 of them in here. Then Scuzzback Marauders, very heavy, 5/5/2 with Trample and Persist. When this creature is put into a graveyard from play, if it had no -1/-1 counters on it, return to play under its owner control with a -1/-1 counter on it. It's kind of like the opposite of Undying. With Undying, it reads just like that, but you get a +1/+1 counter. With Persist, you go the other way, and you come back to the board with a 4/1, which is going to be very aggro and likely die very quickly, but you still get to hit with it, and I think there's 5 of them in here. Pick these up. Okay, and then so I don't mess up with the autofocus, I'm going to start going through the other half. Here we go. So Elvish Hex Hunter is an elf shaman. It's a 1/1/1, and it's got a hybrid 1 ability when you tap it, so you're not going to use it to attack when you tap it. Sacrifice it, destroy target enchantment, so you get a little bit of a quick, naturalize. Naturalize obviously is a 2-drop, so this is a little lighter than that. Then you've got Seed Cradle Witch, which is a creature elf uncommon, 1/1/1, and it's got a 4 mana ability. Target creature gets +3/+3 until end of turn, and untap that creature. That looks immediately useful. I think there's 2 of them. Then Safe Hold Elite is another elf. It's a 2/2/2 with Persist, and I think I just read Persist, so it's like Undying with a -1/-1 counter. And I think we've got a couple of these in here. Yeah, I see 5. Then I've got Medicine Runner. Check the autofocus every now and then, it goes off. I'm going to make sure that it is happy. There we go. Medicine Runner is an elf, 2/2/1. When it comes into play, you may remove a counter from target permanent. Again, that's kind of one of those things where, well, there better be some counters in that particular block or that particular group of cards that you're playing. Raven's Run Dragoon is a 4/3/3. It cannot be blocked by black creatures. So again, one of these restrictive abilities that it all depends. It all depends how strong black is in the metagame you're playing. Wilt Leaf Cavaliers is a 3-drop 3/4 with Vigilance. That's a fairly clean card to play. And I see here a playset. Safehold Duo is a 4-drop 2/4, and whenever you play a green spell, this card gets +1/+1 until end of turn. So you only get it one time per turn, and it only goes up +1/+1, and it goes back down. That's all right, not terrible playset. Then let's go back to the other side so we don't get the autofocus unhappy on us. Runes of the Deus, I guess, is a 5-drop enchantment aura. Enchant creature. As long as the enchanted creature is red, it gets +1/+1 and has double strike. And if it's green, it also gets +1/+1 and it has trample. Very heavy. Oh, I guess I sort of mixed it in with the creatures by mistake. Morsel Hoarder is a 6-drop creature, 6/4, 6/6/4. It comes into play with 2 -1/-1 counters on it, so it's a 6/4/4 when it comes into play. You can remove a -1/-1 counter, and you can add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool. That's really useful. Again, very, very heavy drop though. I think I've got a playset in here. Then Lone Dagger Giant is a 7-drop, 7/6 vanilla. Again, if you get to be this late in the game and you're hoping your opponent doesn't have any removal left, you could play this, but that's usually the case with really heavy creatures. I think I've got like 6 of this thing. Just very heavy. Alright, let's go back to the right side again. And then here we have Old Gas Bark is a 5-drop 3/6 Treefolk Warrior. I think I've got 3. Save Right Quest is a sorcery. For a 1-drop, search your library for a forest or plains, reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle your library. That's not great because if you had a dual land, that's what you would play instead of this card, but that's alright. It is still a 1-drop. Dawn Glow Infusion, it's X1. You gain X life if green mana is spent to play this card, and X life if white mana was spent to play it. Okay, that's fine. Life gain, of course, is always a defensive ability. 5. You're better off dealing damage. 5 of those. Then to the left, Giant Baiting is a 3-drop sorcery. Put a 4/4 red and green giant warrior creature token with haste into play. Remove it from the game at end of turn. So you get to hit for 4/4 if you can pull it off, but only once. And it's got Conspire. As you play the spell, you may tap 2 untapped creatures you control that share a color with it. When you do, copy it. That's alright. It's a common. I think I've got a good number of these. I think I'm counting 7. Which means that if you play it with 2 people, each person can get almost a full playset. Look at the bright side, it was only $3. Fire Spout is a 3-drop sorcery, uncommon. It deals 3 damage to each creature without flying if red mana was spent to play it, and 3 damage to each creature with flying if green mana was spent to play it. And you can do both if you get to play hybrid mana on it. That looks immediately useful. Just one of these. Guttural Response is a 1-drop instant in green-red, counter target blue instant spell. Not bad. It's an uncommon, and I've got in here a full playset. Manamorphose is a 2-drop instant. Add 2 mana and any combination of colors to your mana pool. Draw a card. I think that's really useful. You get to draw and you get to add mana. You can't beat that for a 2-drop in casual. Then we're going to go to the right side. Bark Shell Blessing. Instant. Target creature gets +2/+2 until end of turn. 1-drop, pretty clean. It's got Conspire, which means that if you may tap 2 untapped creatures you control that share a color with it, you can copy it. That's not terrible. It's already good enough as a 1-drop. 1-drops are always useful no matter what. Reknet, I don't know. 2-drop, regenerate target permanent. It's an uncommon. That's not too bad. One of them. Shield of the Oversoul is a 3-drop enchantment aura. As long as enchanted creature is green, it gets +1/+1 and is indestructible. Got several of these. I think that covers everything on the right. I think I saw 7. Then this enchantment aura. Enchant creature, as long as enchanted creature is red, it gets +1/+1 and has double strike. That's Runes of the Deus, which I think I read before. And then you've got these uncommons that have something similar to what eventually became Phyrexian Mana, which is the 2 green, for instance, Tower Above. It can be paid with any 2 mana or with green. And this card's converted mana cost is 6. It's pretty heavy. Until end of turn, target creature gets +4/+4 and gains Trample, Wither, and when this creature attacks, target creature blocks in this turn of able. So all these cards have really long text. I think I'm going to stop here. The autofocus all of a sudden went crazy on me. There you go. Well, that's better. Okay, and then Advice from the Fae, Tower Above, Spectral Possession. They all have these really long texts, and I think I'm going to stop here. They all look really nice.